Yeah, to all of you as well. Okay, so past few days we've explored multiple topics which were like morality. We should stand for ourselves and fight for ourselves, and there is no myth for there are no myths for being human. Life should be lived in present and not thinking about future or worrying about what happened in the past. And we should choose our battles wisely, right? Those were the topics we had explored in just the last week. So, how about that this time we don't start with exploring a topic, but we start with a little story? Will that be okay with you guys?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Yes.
fantastic. Okay, so there was a young Syrian student by name of A. Jandali. Jandali migrated from his country in search of stability and chasing happiness and his ambitions and giving up on your own nation to go to a foreign land exactly is not a cakewalk, right? But in pursuit of happiness, we do such things. So he did something similar as well. He was studying political science at the university where he met a young female named Joanne Carroll. And it was soon enough that they fell in love with each other. And when love, the life is oh so beautiful. However, life has a funny sense of being, no? It doesn't always stay the same. It has strange ways of screwing whatever is going on in our present lives. If we are happy, it will make us sad. If we are sad, it will make us even more sad, or maybe it will make us happy. God knows what it will do, but something like that. Over here, the story takes a turn, and they go to Joanne's parents and say that we wish to get married, but they refuse because they are not from the same faith. The parents are not very much by in their corner, and things are not going their way. So the happiness is kind of a bit reduced. But then they come to understand that Joanne is pregnant, and they were soon going to be parents. They both themselves were in college, not ready for responsibility of their own self, let alone responsibility of a newborn. So, with no one to help them, especially no parents by their side, Joanne decided to give her child the best she could. She took a lot of time, but she decided that she'll give up her child for adoption, only with one condition in her mind that the parents that adopt the child must at least be college graduates because she herself couldn't finish that degree at that point of time. And fortunately, at the same time, a couple, they were both lawyers. They came forward and they promised that they will adopt this child that she'll be giving birth to. So Joanne finally found some peace, some happiness, some solace that, okay, I will not be able to take care of the baby, but the baby will actually find a good place to be. And both the parents are, you know, professionally educated, so the child will have a good future. Things didn't go as planned because when the child came into the world, it was a baby boy. And this lawyer couple wanted a baby girl. So they refused to adopt the child. And Joanne's happiness went all down the drain, and she was all flooded with confusion and doubt, and all sorts of horrors were screaming in her mind. Then came in another couple, Paul and Clara. Paul and Clara were both working middle class people. They were not graduates. And this was something Joanne was not able to wrap her head around. But on the other hand, she herself did not have enough to take care of the child either. So, yeah, fix, she did not know what to do. So, this couple took her to the court. They were fighting in the court when the judge asked Paul and Clara actually promised that when the time comes for this child to go to college, we will make sure that the child does. That somehow convinced Joanne, and she gave up the child to Paul and Clara. Now, as I said, Paul and Clara were working middle class people. Paul was actually a machinist, a skilled craftsman. So he did things by his hands, he built things, he would repair things. And this boy grew up watching his father build things, repair things, which taught him that there is no point in making something beautiful on the outside if the hidden parts inside are not equally efficient. Are you with me till this point?
Yes. It's a
Okay.
very detailed and deep story.
Okay. Not everybody could see the deserve to be done, the desire to be done things properly. People will sometimes do things superficially, but this boy grew up with a father who was deeply embedded in his work, and he was equally invested in his boy's obsession with design and craftsmanship as well. The children are by default quite inquisitive in nature, so this was one intensely curious child, more curious than normal people are. He was also very difficult and stubborn. He would question everything that is and why it is not like this and why it is not like that. The conventional things did not fit in his mind. He was not somebody who would, comfortably be, okay, this is like this, so let us do it like this only. No, no, no. He had questions for everything. Somehow his parents, adoptive parents, were very supportive and they never did mind all this curiosity and things that he wanted to explore. When he came of age, he was enrolled in college, and almost immediately he realized college is not for me. He did not know what is he doing there. 6 months gone by and he decides to quit the college. He did not leave the space though. He just dropped out of the degree certificate. He did stay in the campus learning other things that did interest him. So what he learned was one of the things he learned over there was calligraphy. Now, imagine now being young, dropped out of college, do not have a career choice right now. You do not know what you are going to become, and you are sitting in a classroom learning about beautiful ways of how to letter, how to write, beautiful lettering. Someone could reasonably have asked, what exactly do you think you're doing and where are you going with that? There was obviously no answer to that. It was going to get him, not going to get him a job or make him rich or have a beautiful life, which we so called say is a successful life. So he learned, and that's a beautiful happiness question in disguise over here. How many things do we stop ourselves from doing or exploring because we can't immediately explain whether this will lead to a happy career or a happy future or whether it will be useful for us in life some point of time in our life. We really don't know, and most of the times parents will especially stop their children by saying, focus on your studies. Don't think about let me learn guitar and let me learn piano and let me learn football or let me learn jujutsu. You are going to sit and study. Focus on your studies. That's a normal common thing, but we really have no clue what the future holds. So soon in life, this young boy met somebody who was interested in technology as much as he was, and both of them had an extraordinary instinct for technology could become when it is placed in the hands of ordinary people. They did not have no plans, no funding or things like that available at that point of time, but they were exceptionally good at it themselves. Together, they began building technology that could empower common man. Not because they had 5-year corporate plan, not because they knew they were going to create one of the world's most valuable companies at some point of time. They were young, they were curious, they were making things, and the creation by itself was making them happy. Then emerged a really tech heavy invested company out of their passion. And you remember he took calligraphy classes? Their tech had and still does have the best typography, spacing, and beautiful lettering and visual designs. Till date, their website is considered a work of art, and in the world of sales and marketing, he is considered a magician, not just a tech savvy person, but somebody who is amazing at all sorts of ideas about leadership and tech and core investments of making things that are actually useful, because those are the things his father taught him at a very young age. The thing his father taught him was there is no point in making something beautiful on the outside if the hidden parts are not equally efficient. So that became a part of his moving forward journey. Anybody, any idea who this guy was, or who this guy is, or who it could be? No worries. Anyways, life happened, things kept moving forward, and at a famous speech in Stanford, he said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards." Life happened. He went through roller coaster ride of relationships, career, and all. At a certain point, he had an experience of lots and ups and downs. His heart was heavy and his mind was completely boggled. Like he had to embark on a journey of finding more peace, more meaning to the life. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Your mic had gone muted. Now you are back.
Okay, I don't know how much they did not hear me. Sorry, ma'am. It's okay, no problem. I have no clue when did it go on mute. So if somebody can tell me what did you hear and what you did not?
Asked about who it could be, but I could not understand at time. But you said that he gave a speech in Stanford, so that I heard, and I think that is Jobs.
Yes. So he said in a famous speech at Stanford that you can connect dots only looking forwards, and you cannot looking backwards, and you cannot connect them looking forwards. So when you are living life, you really do not know where is it going. But when you look back, then you'll be able to connect the dots where exactly it happened. So now this young person, his mind on a roller coaster ride of relationships, heavy ups and downs, and career heavy ups and downs. He embarked on a journey to India to spend some time in ashrams and explore different ways of seeing the world. And things became interested, and he became interested in Zen Buddhism and meditation at that point of time. This is important now because the young man isn't simply career driven. He's looking for something inside himself. When he came back, he went again to the rock bottom, from the rock bottom to the top of the industry. So when he went back from India to the place where he went back from rock bottom of his life to the top of his industry all over again. He was hired all over again by the same company that had kicked him out. And this young person, at that point of time, the young person or the baby that was born, and Paul and Clara had adopted. We today know him as Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. How many of you did actually know that story?
His Stanford speech is like legendary. It is played and replayed by almost all college students. So you have seen that.
Okay. So when this baby was born, nobody actually knew this was just a baby. Who's like how it is going to unfold. Then there was Apple, then there was his firing, there was Next, there was Pixar. He returned back to Apple, had wealth, had family, had relationships, had illness. Then we had morality as well. All Joanne wanted when this baby was born was for him to have a good life. Did Joanne ever knew that this is the kind of life that this boy is going to create? All she asked for was parents who would have a degree certificate, or rather degree certificates for everybody, for the child as well as for the parents. Would the life unfold exactly like this? Who celebrated the independence colors? I have no clue, sweetie. So this is perhaps one of the strangest things about happiness. Answering Jivika's question from yesterday, we spend so much of our lives trying to predict what will make us happy when we don't actually know the next chapter of our life is going to look like. There is another one very famous words from Steve Jobs. So this is about leadership. It is also about happiness. If you want to make everybody happy, don't be a leader. Sell ice cream. I guess ice cream does make everybody happy. So that happiness doesn't last for a very long time, but it does make everybody happy. Anybody who's not been happy about receiving an ice cream, I come and give you a cup of ice cream or a cone of ice cream and you'll not be happy? Anybody like that? You will not be happy, Nandini.
I don't
You
like
do not,
ice cream.
you don't like it. Okay.
Yeah,
No worries, I'll make you a slush.
yeah, I like that.
Fair enough. So out of what 12 participants, one says I don't like ice cream. So overall, in general, ice cream is a very lovable thing for
But
everybody else.
I don't like ice cream, but I like Yudi. So whatever you'll give me, I like it, and it will make me happy.
Thank you, sweetie. Okay. Question here becomes, if we have an ice cream or a slush or something which makes us happy temporarily, is there an everlasting happiness? So is there something called an everlasting happiness? Most stories end with the statement, and they live happily ever after. Yeah, we have heard that in almost all the stories in our childhood, and they lived happily ever after. Yes, nothing lasts. And neither does happiness for a very long time, not in a common person's life at least. So this one leaves us with a question, what happiness is and does it last forever? Anybody wants to talk about it? Please feel free.
So she's saying good night. Is she leaving? Oh, okay. Good night, Sush. S- No worries. Take rest. Good night. So, happiness as a, you know, fleeting feeling and as a permanent fixture in life, both of them can be seen as a I don't know. Sometimes happiness can be seen as a state. Sometimes it is an achievement, and at other times it is, it comes from what we do. So it's an outcome. So a perpetual state of happiness, if we think of like happily ever after, if we talk about something like that. So perpetual happiness could be the like it could be a wealth for some people, certain people who have understood what happiness is all about. But for most other people, it is just it's a fleeting feeling. It just comes and goes, and almost always is interspersed by sadness, because whenever we get super happy and something comes along which disturbs the balance of happiness, and we become sad instead. So yeah, probably people who have understood the meaning or the essence of what happiness really is, they might have a chance of having perpetual happiness, but otherwise it's a very mm, not so permanent kind of a fixture in human life.
I agree to that. Okay, there are 11 things that are considered to be, the 11 dimensions of human life. And most people believe that if I have this, I will be happy. If I have good health, I'll be happy. If I have enough money, right career, a good life partner, supportive family, understanding friends, if I have respect and recognition in the society, I'll be happy. Do you feel like that? Do you feel if I have all these things in my life, I will be happy? Yes. Okay. So if you find people to support you, if you have money, if you have respect and recognition, and if you have good health, then we'll be happy. If is the word in quotes over here. That is like, when I will have this, then I'll be happy. So you did postpone your happiness too. Okay, not now. First, I want a good life partner and then I'll be happy. Okay, first, I want respect and recognition and good friends and supportive family. We are outsourcing our happiness to others and things. But we do this unconditionally all the time. We all truly want to be happy, but we do conditional postponement of our happiness all the time. So let's say you get all these things, all of the said above things. Does that guarantee that you will be always happy? You have health, you have family. No, it doesn't guarantee. Okay, never. That doesn't guarantee. Never. Okay. Anybody who feels yes, if I have all this, I have ample to be happy. I'll be always happy. It does guarantee my happiness. So just say, for example, you decide to go on mountain climbing. You work hard and you get your body ready, and then you actually take a bike and you take your team and you prepare everything, and then you go and climb that mountain. Of course, you'll be happy. No,
Yes,
no,
but that won't be permanent. That won't last. At
exactly.
that moment, yeah, at that moment we'll be happy, but after that moment of happiness passes, we get uh, and we get like we want something more that makes us more happy, or some other things in life. So there is no satisfaction. There's always a more factor. I want more of this, or maybe that, if I'll get this or that. So it is very conditional and momentarily temporary. Happiness is not very
So
permanent.
that is true, that you will have temporary happiness out of it. It will not be something which will be permanent. And in state of happiness, no. But as a memory, it will be. As a memory that is embedded in your mind of it, that entire experience, how disciplined you made your life, how beautifully you executed everything, how supportive your friends and family were when you were, uh, working hard towards achieving the goal. Sakshi, no, you will not be happy that your friends and family are supporting
No,
you and
no,
you're achieving.
I'm just replying to Ashar. Like she said that we can be always happy. Like can be
Oh,
like
we'll come to
always
that.
like permanent.
We'll come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally we believe that that state is not possible because it's a difficult thing to understand at the moment. Okay, um, coming back to the ice cream example. A good meal today, a burger tomorrow, party with friends, you get pleasure out of it. So, is pleasure the same thing as happiness? You get pleasure out of it as yes, or is pleasure and happiness the same thing as a yes?
I think pleasure is sensory. It is, we pleasure something in our senses. Like if it is, and not just only the like physical senses, the mind as well, treating it as a sense, we can make it a bit happy by doing certain things or be existing in certain situations. But happiness is a like overarching kind of state. It is not just sensory. The feeling of being contentment is also happiness. The feeling of being loved is also happiness. The feeling of being cared for by, maybe my mother or something, some person
No,
who
what
is
I'm trying to say is if I'm content, I might be happy. If I am getting pleasure, it could lead to happiness. So all these things are mediums that lead to happiness. Did I get that right?
yes, yes, that's what I'm trying to hint at. Yes.
So yes, maybe feeling good is a part of being ex- it's part of experiencing pleasure, but it's not exactly the same thing as being happy. And this one is especially for all those people who are fitness freaks, especially Akash Bhai. Achievements, discipline, growth. You think you have a really, really healthy body that makes you truly, truly happy?
Well, actually, when I was, playing football, at that time I broke my leg twice. So at that time, I used to think that if I was stronger, if I had like strong legs, if I did not break them while playing, yeah, I would be really happy because breaking a leg was an impediment basically at that time. I lost like 3 months, 5 months at a time just to heal. So, but later, I think it doesn't actually it does not add to the happiness. The state of being present in the game is what makes me happy, not just sitting, healing my broken leg. So yeah.
Absolutely bang. Exactly. So when you read books like Atomic Habits and Can't Hurt Me, which make powerful cases against become better, become stronger, become fitter, become smarter, become more successful, achievements feel great. But what happens when the achievement immediately comes forward with a next target? Now that I have climbed a small hill, I want to capture the next big mountain. The moment you have created another big target in front of you, that small target that you already achieved becomes so small that the happiness almost flees out of it. What about a purposeful life? So there are many people, and you'll find many theories saying that what am I doing all this for? If I'm doing this, I'm doing it for the sake of my friends and my family and my people and for my body and all sorts of excuses. I want a good career. Everything seems fine in life. Then one day they wake up wondering again, what the heck am I doing? Especially people in their 40s. This happens a lot, and you'll find statistics to prove it. People often come to their 40s and then they have a career change, midlife crisis, to be precise. Yes. Why in the midlife do they feel a crisis all of a sudden? Like 20 years you've invested your life doing something, and now you feel like this is not ample, not enough, not good enough. Why so? Did they get the purpose of their life wrong? Or was the perhaps the happiness is not always the feeling good about life thing?
I think what happens is comparison is there as the thief of joy. So basically, people start juxtaposing their journey with people around them, and they feel that the efforts that they have put in was not commensurate to what they are able to achieve till that point in time. So that is where this midlife crisis starts. I think that is because I've observed people in my colleague circle, and like after college, all of us, most of us, got placed in different companies, and we started jobs in with very little income. Over a period of the next 5 years, most of us rapidly jumped careers, or even in the same company we moved up the food chain basically, and were racing towards larger incomes and larger status basically. So the point was, the thirst or the hunger for more never actually dies down. So what happens after having experienced all of it and becoming tired of the process? That is when this crisis starts, because you start comparing what you have achieved with whatever you have put into the process, and what life has given you back instead.
Isn't happen every
Manas.
stage of the life?
Sorry.
Isn't I is saying that the comparison is happen in the midlife. It's happen every stage of the life.
Yes,
I
it
got
happens
selected.
always. It happens always.
I got selected in this college. She got selected in that college. I got this degree. She got that degree. It's happened every time.
Every time. True. But at a certain point of life, when you have lived 20, 25 years of work life, not college life, not student life, there comes a point when you start searching for meaning in life. Something which is larger than life itself, something which will outlast you. Because now, till now, whatever you have been creating, yes, college life is very awesome, but then it comes to an end. What next comes work, and what next comes is, do I need to live a life which would outlast me? There are many people who will sit and do their sadhana so that they can achieve a state where their lives get expanded. Medical profession, for that matter, they keep on finding cure for age, not so that people will not become old. And multiple examples of it, that humans want to keep their lives to keep going on and on. They find that their life should make sense to others, and they should be remembered by others even after they are gone. Some become monk, yes, some do become monk, because they are all exploring various aspects of the meanings of life and happiness. Ash, this one is for you. What happens when your girlfriend breaks your heart? College life, not so happy.
Oh my God.
From
I don't
become
think
gay?
everyone's gay because their girlfriend broke their heart. But yes, it is possible that they became, yeah, they were always gay. So after the girlfriend left, they probably found that. I am not interested in ladies. I'm more interested and more inclined towards males. Okay. Um, that's an entirely different study altogether. Maybe some other time we'll focus on that. Right now, let's focus on happiness. Who do you want who you do you want us to let them speak? Arsha or Akash bhai?
So I really am struggling to understand your Indian accent because I'm not from India. It really is hard and tough to understand, but I really try to understand and get your point. So I can make you all happy right now. What I'm saying is there's a thing called stoicism. Uh, like the world, the things happening around you, you just don't care about it, and you will always be happy. I mean that you can just control the world. You will just let it go, and you will only care about yourself. I mean, uh, in a good way. I mean, you will just control your emotions, and the happiness is something that you already have. I mean, we all have to be grateful for what we already have, and that's actually happiness because we don't have the worst scenario after all. And to my mind, the happiness is to do something you love. Like if I love to play football, becoming a professional footballer is my happiness. Why? Because, for example, if I work part-time job with high salary instead of studying, that would be just exhausting because I'm not doing what I should do. So that's it.
That's a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
Ash, I
So
have a question to you.
Yeah,
Like
all right.
you mentioned stoicism, right? And what I understand from studying stoicism, it is that we don't need to put happiness on a pedestal. Happiness is basically a fallout of whatever we are doing. We don't pursue it. And the Stoics say that the pursuit of happiness is not actually a worthwhile pursuit at all. What actually is to work on our actions and control our emotions and be you know uh, not be like rocked by the presence or absence of certain phenomena from our lives, if I understand them correctly, because Seneca was a celebrated stoic basically, and he talks about the futility of happiness.
Yeah, that's actually right, and that's great. I mean, you won't just be happy and you won't be sad either. So you will just stay stoic and you will be like emotionless, but you still have emotions, so you will still be happy
Yes.
after all because
Yes, of course. Feel the emotions, but not just run blindly behind happiness to be the end goal. Yes, yes, exactly.
but still inside you will just feel happy. It's just clear.
Yes, agree. Thank you.
Back to my question. Akash bhai, there's something you want to say?
No, Sovereignty, please continue.
I hope I didn't interrupt anything. Okay, coming back to the question, what happens when you lose something? You lost, I lost a leg in an accident. Now what? Just an example. I didn't really lose my leg.
I think it's we go through so many emotions. Like first there is sadness, then there is anger, then there is helplessness. So many things we feel one after the other, just because the outcome is something that we cannot control or change, no matter what we want to do or try doing, because something as absolute as losing a limb, it basically means that my entire life henceforth will change and I will need to adapt or just deal with it.
All such deep things that we have been through, be it loss of a limb, loss of a child, loss of a parent, loss of any relationship basically, or a storm hits and somebody loses their house or their farm. Any loss which is deep, which is great, will first of all lead you to the state of denial. Yes, the 5 stages of grief processing. Suppose a husband cheats on his wife. The first thing she'll do is she'll not believe it. Though she has all the proofs right in front of her eyes, the first thing she's going to do is she'll take the proof and she'll just dispose them off and say, no, this never happened. Did not happen. Not happening. First thing, first reaction to such thing our mind always creates is denial. We do not want to believe that this has happened because it is something very, very painful. Our first reaction always will be denial. Next thing that comes along is anger. After the person's been, suppose my limb is lost, my first reaction would be, no, this cannot happen. There's some mistake. Something has gone wrong. Doctors probably have not gotten the diagnosis right. Next thing I'll feel is the anger. I was not the person who was driving rashly, doing the rash driving. It was the other person who did it. Why do I have to lose my limb? It should be that person and not me. The second thing, from after we go from the state of denial into acceptance, the second thing we feel is anger. Next comes is bargaining. Okay, doctor, is it possible that you did not get the diagnosis wrong and you think that my leg will need to be cut off? But is it possible that you don't cut off, up to my knee and maybe just a little bit of my foot? Will that not be okay? Can we not do this and can we do that? You will always start bargaining. You wish you could change the outcomes, and what if comes a lot of in between at that point of time. What if this can be done and what if that can be done, and all sorts of bargainings will start over there. Then comes the depression part. After you understand that I have been angry, I have been bargaining and nothing is working, a deep feeling of sadness, fatigue, loneliness starts pulling us down. We don't see things to be normally the way they are. We don't really want to get out of bed. We don't want to brush our teeth or do anything at all for that matter. All we want to do is keep lying in the bed, no matter what happens. Once we get out of that depression, yes, the next stage that comes is the acceptance part of it. Finally, at some point, you will accept, yes, this happened and there is no cure to it. I have to accept it and I have to move on. What happens between acceptance and happiness? Will this person very next moment become happy? Okay, because I have accepted that this is my reality. Then what transpires for a normal person to go from rehabilitation. No, sweetie, no. We are not putting everybody through rehabilitation because they had a heartbreak. If we start putting people through rehabilitation for heartbreak, probably we'll have less of homes and more of rehabilitation centers. You will find three people in the house and two are heartbroken. We cannot do that. It's a good idea though, not a very practical one. Okay, I'll come to this one once again. Now we'll revisit this question. Most of the times, people will you will hear people say, "I am fine. I'll be fine." But then the state changes to happiness only when something inside them shifts, and that shift will never happen. I get 5 marks. Yes, you get all five on five. Rather, you get 10 on 5 because I didn't think of rehabilitation. You did. Okay. Please let's come back to the topic. Anybody wanting to sponsor the rehabilitation centers from broken hearts, please contact Jyoti. She is very interested in making some rehabilitations for people whose heart has broken. We will soon start a foundation for the broken heart people. We'll start collecting donations so that we can start a rehabilitation center.
Well,
Mostly you will
people,
find, yeah,
yeah, it will be a good idea because some people are dying nowadays because of a broken heart. So yeah, it might help. It, recently, someone in my neighborhood committed suicide because of a broken heart. So yeah, that would help.
sorry to hear about your loss, sweetie. May that soul rest in peace. But people who think that they died because of a broken heart, they didn't really die because of a broken heart. They died because they didn't have the strength to stand in front of life and fight for it.
Yes. So yeah, rehabilitation might have if he got into the rehabilitation center, people there, therapists might have helped him, uh, uh, like help him with his emotions and everything. And yes, that would have helped. So yes, it is a funny thing, but yeah, it would have helped. So yeah, I think I know why she got 5 out of 5 marks for suggesting this.
Hello.
Yes, please. You are audible.
Um, we don't use that kind of language over here. Could you please not do that? Okay. Say this person would have gone to a counselor, it would have helped him. If the parents or somebody was attentive enough to understand that this person is going through something which they are not able to deal with on their own and they would have taken them to a counselor, that would have helped. Counseling and rehabilitation are not one and the same things, but let's go with rehabilitation and counseling both for the sake of the happiness thing right now.
Okay.
Please go on.
Nandini, you were saying something?
No, I was not.
Okay.
So I have a question for you all. It's very interesting to ask. What do you imagine when you see the word happiness? I mean, I personally myself imagine the rainbow, the old days when I was a child. It really is nostalgic, and I didn't have any problems when I was child back then.
Can you repeat
Okay.
your question, please? I didn't hear it.
Asking, so what exactly is happiness? If this is not happiness, if that is not happiness, what exactly is happiness? Because this is exactly my next question. Life keeps changing, things keep changing, situations keep changing, and our happiness keeps shifting. Sometimes we are postponing it, sometimes life is postponing it, sometimes circumstances are postponing it. But every single time, it's just a fleeting thing, always like a little ahead of us, or maybe a little behind us, but never with us. Most of the times, not with us. So his question was, what exactly is happiness in that case? Did you answer that?
Could it be achievement in different disguises?
Achievement is not happiness because it doesn't last. Okay. Not just because it doesn't last, because achievement is achievement in its own self. Like you went for a 12 mile run today. It is something you did for the first time. Next thing you will know is, okay, now if it could be 12.1 miles or 12.5 miles, it'll be better. It got stretched. So this particular achievement will again become something small, and your happiness will still be momentary, and it'll fleet and go further ahead. Can we say contentment is happiness?
Yes, that is what Ellen was also mentioning. But Ash mentioned something about said used a specific word like a rainbow or something. I didn't get what he was trying to say. But Ash, can you please repeat the question that he was asking, please?
I was just interested to ask you, what do you exactly imagine when you see the word happiness? Just the word happiness, when you see it on the screen, when you see it on the screen, what do you imagine? I personally imagine my childhood because it was peaceful and I had no problems. It's not
Okay,
about
okay.
happiness
The
actually.
experience of got your point. Okay, okay. Thank you. For me, it is even now the ability to sit in on my own and learn new things, or tinker with electronics, tinker with code, anything, things which I find intellectually stimulating. That is happiness for me.
No, no, no. You still didn't get my point. I mean, what
Uh,
what comes to your mind? Just imagine or picture comes to your ma mind when you see happiness, the word happiness
So
on
okay,
screen.
image that is in my mind is me sitting in a library and reading books that I have stacked up for the for a time, like 2 to 3 books stacked beside me reading books. That is the image that I have in my mind.
So,
and for
this
me,
great meal you had
may, may, I,
peaceful lives.
may I answer?
Please.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I think of the word happiness, the first thing that comes into my mind is an Almira in my house. Uh, it's a built-in Almira, like or in the wall, mounted. Okay.
So
So
covered.
yeah. So cupboard, yeah. So cupboard, yeah. It's embedded in the wall. So that kind of a cupboard. So in that is the one space when I was a child, I used to sit there for hours. Like it was a daily routine for me to go there and to decorate it with fairy lights and keep my books there, or some journals there, or some glitters, stickers, and all the small things that I had uh, in my list. Like these things are good, shiny, and this these things give me happiness. I feel good with them, and I used to sit in that almirah and cover it with a curtain, and that thing was my that thing was my space. And I had a kind of a diary in there also, that had a lock kind of a thing, and I used to write things in it. So when I think of happiness even now, when this is the same question that once I got asked from my professor in my college. She also asked this question because she was teaching something, and I gave the exact same answer, because that is one thing that comes to my mind when I think of the word happiness, because that thing is still happiness for me. When I see that place, I still fit in it because I have not grown much. So yes, it is something that is for me happiness.
That's wonderful.
So,
Thank you, Nandini.
yeah, so let's move on.
Jyoti,
What
what is
is
happiness?
happiness?
Jyoti, what is happiness to you? Is there something which you remember as, or which you would see as when you hear or see the word happiness?
I'm sitting in my room, not alone, but my brother and my both parents. We all are chatting on a different topic and criticizing what is wrong and correcting each other and enjoying this every single moment of our life. The happy moment is the night with my family.
Um, who's next? Jivika.
We have Accelera, Jivika, Ellen.
Would you like to shed some light on it? What exactly do you picture in your mind when you hear or listen to or when you see the word or read the word happiness?
So if we move on, then we have all make it clear. What do you think? Why did I even give that question to you? It's just clear that happiness is a stage, and stage uh, that takes space in our in our brain and stays as a memory is also happiness. I mean, uh, when your life gets better, it's also happiness. You feel happy for a moment until you get used to it. Then you will uh, stop having feeling happiness.
Okay. He says it's a stage where this happens. Anybody else who has anything else to add to it?
Excellent. Do you have any anecdotes they would like to share?
So by this chat, we have made it clear we have two kinds of happiness: happiness by memories and temporary happiness. Uh, so, for example, uh, whoever that is, when you just remember about your happy moments, you will just be happy again, and that's a good memory. That's a good memory and one of your memories. So, temporary happiness is when your life gets better. Just imagine if you are so poor and have no money for something else, if you get a good job, you will be happy. It is achievement, but if we describe it with words, it would be more like it would sound better.
Right. So what you are trying to say, what I understand is The association of memories to certain achievements that we have had in life is how we anchor happiness. Is this correct?
Yeah, that's right. And moreover, what I'm saying is, imagine that if our life gets better, in that moment, we feel happy. I mean, imagine that I'm so poor and I get a job and got my first salary. I will be happy for maybe seconds or minutes. Then I will get used to it and I will forget my happiness. And that's what I'm calling it temporary happiness.
Yes, I understood. Thank you for that.
Fantastic. Okay, so there are two different things that Ash and I believe in. He believes it's a stage. I believe it's a state, not a stage. A state which is somewhere stored in your experience, and you know that this is the state which I call as my happy state. And yes, as an person who's learned NLP, I can say what he just said. It is something which is accessible to us at all times. And if you really ask NLP practitioners, they anchor that feeling in some part of their body. And whenever they want to recall it, for example, Akash Bhai has this feeling when he goes to, yes, the permanent memory which can be accessed by you on demand. So the question was, is it possible for us to be happy at all times? The answer is anytime and every time and all the time. Contentment, pleasure, joy, all these are different from feeling happy. And at a certain point of time, yes, it is possible, Jivika. That's what I'm telling you. It is possible for you to be happy at all times if you know how to anchor that feeling in your body and how to access it at your own will. Say, the exercise is something like this. It's actually called anchoring itself. You close your eyes and you revisit that one state wherein you felt exceptionally and so happy that nothing in the world will ever be able to take that away from you. So, like my memory of my niece hugging me, it gave me such immense happiness that I literally would be dancing on one leg. That happy. And for Ash, it was his childhood. Akash Bhai, it was his library. Nandini, it was her Almira cupboard. Every one of us knows that feeling, and that feeling is stored somewhere inside us. It has become a state where you can always go revisit and access it at your own choice and will. So when you anchor it into a certain body part, you remember that feeling by touching your wrist, for that matter, or maybe by holding your thumb, one thumb in the other palm, and you anchor that feeling in that thumb. That every time I touch this thumb, I will be again feeling the exact same amount of happiness. No matter how deeply, what do you say, in pain you are in that moment, when you access that anchored feeling, you can access that same state of joy, same state of happiness, same state of everything being all good all over again. It takes a lot of practice to constantly be in that state, but it's not so that it is never ever possible. It's difficult. I'm not saying that it is possible and we can picture it today and tomorrow it is going to happen. But lasting happiness is a state in which one can be. It is not a state where you will want to be all the time. because there is nothing called perfect happiness. Your life will start feeling like boring and monotonous if you stay in that state all the time. But it's possible to achieve a state where you are happy most of the times. You will on and off keep coming out of it so that you experience other things as well. Because entire purpose of life is the soul's journey is so that you really experience all sorts of emotions and all sorts of things and ups and downs. Otherwise, we have discussed this multiple times that life will become very monotonous and will really lose its itself. Am I making sense?
Yes, please. So I would like to ask Ellen and Excellent. So what are your personal experiences with happiness? How do you anchor your on-demand happiness? Are you able to when you're not feeling so great, for example, maybe you are traveling somewhere and you're feeling uneasy, are there some memories that you anchor back to feel light?
Sakshi, do you have any greeting cards or things like that stored with yourself? Gifts from your old friends?
Ellen,
No,
no,
you're
you're
not
not
audible.
audible. Sure, okay.
Do you have any greeting cards or any gifts from your school friends or your college friends that you have kept somewhere, and every time you see them, you get this
Yes.
memory of you do have that, right?
Yes, I do
Uh,
have it.
why did you keep them?
Like, I don't talk to her like today, but I still have that um pouch which she had given me in my school days. Like, I don't know why did I kept her with me. I still, but I don't know. But I just want to keep that with me.
There's some good memories, right? Something
Yeah.
about it makes you feel joyous, feel happy.
Yes. By looking at that thing, I just remember her and that those moments which we had in my school.
So there is a state of happiness deep within yourself that is already engraved somewhere in your memory.
Yeah.
And those items over there are the anchors, but they are right now outside your body. Those greeting
Yeah.
cards and gifts are all outside, right? Now, what if we anchor that feeling in your thumb or maybe in your elbow? Every time you touch your elbow, you will be able to access the same deep state of feeling happiness that you felt in those moments when you were with your friends.
Actually, I don't have answer for this.
So anchoring, and it's possible because it's something life coaches will always do with people who don't feel very confident or who have a stage fright or they are unable to go and speak in interviews. Some point of time we have always experienced something like they have experienced confidence at some point of time and they're feeling nervous when they go for an interview. The life coach will help them anchor the feeling of confidence in their wrist or maybe in their elbow. Next time when they are sitting in the interview, they will just simply touch their elbow and remember the same feeling all over again, and the confidence will last until the interview is going on and the person will not come out of that state. It's a very common practice. All life coaches do this. They too teach you how to anchor your feelings. So, how to de anchor your feelings is also possible. If there is a memory which is sharply, yes, it needs training, sharply disturbing, like a lady who has been through a very unpleasant experience of something, um, and she wants to forget it and she cannot forget it. Now what? This memory needs to fade away. It needs to go away. Time will do its job. But this person needs to transit from that anger to depression to state of acceptance and being okay. But the state is not coming because that memory is or that experience is too heavy on them. It keeps on grabbing them and pulling back again and again. In that state, how to diminish this experience, that is also taught. It's all training and it's all possible. I'm not saying that every one of us needs to do this, but all I'm saying is the feeling of contentment, joy, pleasure, we've all experienced all those. They are all not the state of happiness. The state of happiness, those are all feelings, and happiness is a state. And if it's a state, it is an achievable thing. We can achieve it on demand, access it, and come back to it whenever we want to. And hence, it can be extended also. It can be not lasting forever and ever, but it can be lasting for extended period of time, and it's possible. Make sense? Has anything to add? Any experiences about happiness? Maybe you had ice creams with your friends and families, and you are happy, or anything else for that matter. Please feel free to say so. Please share your experiences.
Ellen has rejoined. Ellen, do you want to talk about something?
Yeah, so am I audible now?
Please.
You are.
Okay. So happiness is like I experience quite more often. Like whenever I'm alone, I just used to listen to songs or I dance. It is. I feel very good about me myself. And one particular memory is that um, it was past midnight and it was raining and okay, it was raining and I was just standing and having some hot water and was watching it. And I thought, why can't I just go out and dance in the rain? So I did it. Like it was at 1 a.m. or so. It was in my terrace. So I was just opening my arms and looking up, close my eyes, and it was just going round and round. It was so good, no one was there to judge me, no one was there to question me. Anyways, I got cold after 2 days that I don't want to mention now. I did it. So there are many things that makes me happy, and happiness on the whole is, I think it is a mixture of all contentment, satisfaction, feeling good, and pleasure, everything. And as Sovereign Alchemy, I don't know. I have not spoken to that person, and I don't know how to
You did perfectly right.
mention. Okay, fine. As she had said, um, happiness is a state and not a stage. I agree with that because and you can't be laughing all the time, but you can feel good about yourself. You can feel good about the things you are. You can radiate positiveness. I think that is more of happiness. And there are quite few memories of me being happy, but these are the things I wanted to share.
You just said it's not a state, and then you did say it's a state. You know how? Yeah, it's a little absurd. But you just said yourself that there is this memory of you dancing in the rain with open arms that made you feel so joyous deep within that it engraved in your memory, and every time you access it, it makes you happy all over again. It's a state somewhere stored in your mind, in your feelings, something that anchored in your body through that dream. So if it was just a feeling, it will be temporary, fleeting, and coming and going. But since it's a state, you can access it all over again whenever you want to. Whenever you want to feel that happiness all over again, all you have to do is close your eyes, go back to that very moment, and just feel it. And you will be able to access that state present deep within yourself all over again. Am I right?
I don't agree with that. I mean, happiness can be a state because just imagine, God forgive me for saying that, but just imagine someone close to you have passed away, died, and you can just be happy during that time. And what you're saying is just being happy all the time by just remembering good moments is actually absurdism. It's called absurdism. You know that the life is meaningless and you will just enjoy the ride. You will be happy all the time.
Enjoyment and happiness are not one and the same thing, and that is not what I said. I said it is accessible to you on demand. Now, whether you want to be happy on someone else's death or not, that's your personal choice.
No, no, Savind, he didn't say about being happy at somebody's death. What he's saying is, when somebody has passed away, if we can recall the happiness that we have spent with them, then it reduces the sadness and makes us happy. So that is what he's calling absurdism. That it is not always possible to recall something and reinstate the state of happiness for that time as well.
I mean, what he's saying is absurdism. I mean, you can just automatically be happy when someone died. I mean, you will be sad for sure. But if you believe in absurdism, you can be happy. I mean, you know that life is meaningless and you will be happy.
Yes, and I do believe that my teacher at least teaches to rejoice when somebody leaves the planet, not to be sad about it, to be actually happy for them. Most people find it to be very absurd and very, very weird as well. But the soul is free from the body. It's a moment to rejoice, not something to be sad about. Most people are not crying because the soul has departed. Most people are, yes, celebrating the departed soul because they lived a life. They're finally free from this planet and its suffering. Anyways, not going into that philosophy at the moment. And I literally forgot what was I saying. So yes, the theory by itself is a little absurd over here, but as far as what he said, accessing that state is not possible. It is possible. When you want to access it or not, that is completely on you. And we've already touched upon the points that you would not want to be in that state 24/7, 365. You would want to come out of it so that you can experience other things as well.
So, are you admitting that you have said that happiness is state, and if we stick to absurdism, you are actually right. But what I have said before, what I have mentioned before, is that happiness is a stage. Yeah, that's
The
right.
state,
If
I'm calling it a state. It's all one and the same thing. Anybody else wanting to share their own experiences about happiness?
Jivika, would you like to share something?
You can just turn on your mic.
And we have Gajender. Gajender, would you like to? You've been hearing about this discussion, right? You joined in late, I think. Would you like to share something? Okay, okay.
Soldier is also here. So
Hi, Soldier. Good evening. Would you like to talk about a few things?
Hello, good evening, Akash and others. I have just now joined. I was listening to you. So I think if you will continue, that will be better. I will listen to you.
Okay, okay, great. Right. So, the last thing that we were discussing, Sovereignty, that anchoring happiness into a body part, it allows us to recall the state of happiness when we are, feeling low or feeling down, or maybe going through a rough patch. We can, yeah, closing eyes or anything, touching our elbow, or maybe, squeezing our thumb, any physical anchor we might have to recall that sense of gladness or happiness that we have stored into, to access any time. Yeah. So when this is true for times of non-contingency, is this also true for times of contingency, when we are in a in a physical state of uh, negativity, in the physical state of maybe war, or maybe, in a calamity, physical calamity, like a natural calamity or something? We are stuck in a place where we are not able to help others, and we're helplessly watching the thing, things collapse around us. Is it possible to draw on this state of happiness at that time as well?
Yes, it is possible, and people do that all the time. Especially those who are working in such situations where they are trained to help others in situations of calamities, wherein they are helping people who are stuck in flood.
Relief
What
workers.
relief workers? What happens when they themselves are not up to it, or they are not feeling good about it? They are taught this particular thing. How do they access their own inner happiness or inner state of peace or inner state of balance, so that they can be present and they can be helping the cause that they are there for? It's not just about the happiness thing. They can be about all sorts of different states of beings that one wants to access. So your balanced state is one such state wherein people do often confuse it with happiness, and sometimes do actually access the same state as well, wherein you're not unhappy, whether you're not content, whether you're not, where you are not in any state, but just the state of being present and being, just being. That's it. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm not agitated. I'm not being affected by the situation. You can be in two states at the same time. And yes, it is very much possible that you are in that state of happiness despite being in complete chaos, physical or mental, otherwise. It's possible to access both the things at the experience both the things at the same time, because one is an inner job, the other is an outer job.
Okay,
Chaos
thank
is
you for that.
outside, peace is inside you, the happiness is inside you. So when you are accessing when you're in middle of that chaos, the chaos is still outside you, and you want to be in that state of happiness, you can anchor the feeling in your body and you can access it on demand.
Right. So, a related question that I have, and I've found this question coming up again and again over a period of the last few months. What happens when uh, young minds or people with less experience, how do they process loss of any kind, and how can we, as neighbors or surrounding people surrounding them, how do we reinforce their ability to deal with loss in such a way that they don't descend into like chronic uh, what do you call that, delirium? It's not
Chronic
only, sorry,
chronic states of depression.
I'm not talking about depression. It's actually delirium. Depression is we what I know is negative for me, and I'm choosing to stay there. But there is a state where loss creates such a amount of shock that we descend into delirium. We are not aware of what our physical state is. We just exist in a state of mental suspension. So how do we reinforce the environment of people, young minds who have gone into the state? For example, a person who is who comes into a like a very fatal accident. So people all around him or her have died, and he or she is the only survivor. So there is something called a survivor, like,
Survivor's guilt.
sorry,
Survivor's guilt.
survival guilt. Yes, exactly. Survival guilt. So that guilt is actually a state of suspension. It is disbelief that how can this happen. If they were killed, this probably would have been a better state to be mentally than where they are now, which actually is better because they are still alive, they can change things around them, but their mind chooses to exist in a state of complete guilt that this should not have happened with me. So my question is, when we are able to anchor happiness in certain ways so that we can access it on demand, is it possible as environment, people in the environment of those people who are dealing with this kind of shock and mental dissociation, to aid them or to be able to help them in some way to deal with this kind of situation? Am I making my question clear?
Yes, absolutely. Akash bhai, we did go through all 5 stages of grief. We went through, first, the person will be in denial. Then they will be angry about it. Then they will start bargaining about it. Then they'll go into depression. And finally, they'll come to a state of acceptance. What you're talking about is the state of bargaining and depression. In between, it comes the state wherein they will saying, will it not be better if I die and this person lived? What if all those what ifs start coming in that bargaining state? This sad state of deep fatigue and loneliness and wanting to pull away from everybody. That is the state of depression. And you're calling it delusional because they are not actually delusional. How do you jump from number one to number last? You do not. There is no shortcut to it, and there should not be a shortcut to it, because if you are jumping from one state to another, today I am denying it, this did not happen only, and tomorrow I'm saying, okay, fine, I accepted it. Later on, all these states will come here or there. They will jump in and they will create problems for you in your thought processes, in your way of processing things, in your emotions. A lot many places they will show up. They will show up in unexpected ways, so you do not want to skip the stages. You really want to sit with that feeling. And Akash bhai, coming back to your question, how do you, as somebody who's watching this person or observing this person from outside, help them deal with it? First, just sit with them. Make them feel that you are there. A person who's drowning doesn't really want to be held in that moment. just your presence, knowing that somebody is present, is a huge help in its own self. This person, the example that you gave, they just really lost everybody. They've lost their parents, they've lost their wife, they've lost their child, they've lost maybe a few other people. But in short, they have lost so much that processing such amount of grief is going to take time. And in the stages of bargaining, they will be coming up with all sorts of things. All you have to do is question them and bring them back to the reality. You do not answer for them. You only give them a question that they will answer for themselves. If you answer it for them, it's like giving somebody a temporary chocolate. It'll last for a few seconds or a few minutes, but then again they'll go back to the same thing all over again because it is not something that they derive. As humans, we don't accept things because somebody else said so or somebody else knows so. We understand it when we have experienced it or when the answer is actually coming from within ourselves. So you help them by giving them questions. You help them by telling them about somebody else so that they will be helping you come to the conclusion if this person is in this state, then this should be done for them. In the meantime, their own mind will be processing the same things for themselves. You are asking me to give examples or you're saying something else? Jyoti, I'm not able to understand that. State examples.
We can state the example who had gone through the same experience.
There are many methods to speak to them. You can question them, you can tell them stories. No two people are exactly the same. Some people will be very irritated if you're asking them questions in that state. The first thing is just be present over there for them. Second thing is try to make them speak. Do something. Even if the person cries, it's still release. Emotions are releasing. Tears are a great way to release the stacked up emotions. If those emotions are stuck somewhere in that person and the person cries, the healing will begin. If the person cries, nothing like it. Let them cry. Don't be emotional about it. Because as they say, if there is a wound and if it has got infected, there is pus inside it. Unless and until the pus will drain, the wound will not heal. So this flowing of tears is not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing. Those pent up emotions will start flowing out. Let it flow. In fact, if possible, make them cry. There is actually a practice like that, wherein if somebody's a really close one, near or dear one has passed away, and this person's not crying, some elders will actually go and slap them so that they come out of that state of shock and start crying. And once they start crying, those emotions start getting released. Now, you're talking about what if this person is delusional? This person is delusional because they are still processing the same thing all over again. They're stuck in a loop in their own selves. How do you help them get out of that loop? You create different scenarios for them. So when next time when this person's talking about something and is going over the same thing all over again, you give them options of what if this and what if that. Those scenarios wherein they will be able to just move one step forward, not 20 steps forward, just one step forward. Once they start coming out of it, just one more step ahead, just one more step ahead, then there will be no going back because human mind is such. Once it is stretched by new dimensions, it doesn't regain its original position all over again. It will always start expanding. If you just help them transit from that loop into a state of not being in that loop, help them go from being in the same questions all over again to a state of alternate thinking wherein they will be able to process those things naturally instead of you or me or somebody else forcing it on them, because that is not going to work. Help them come to those conclusions by themselves, but just you seen when there's an ant and you keep some obstruction in their way, they will stop proceeding from that path and they will change their route and then they will continue. Similarly, this person's chain of thoughts is like this, wherein they are going from A point to B point, B point to C point, C point to D point again going back to A point. The loop is continuously, constantly yielding such negative expressions, which is bothering them to a huge extent. So you create such obstructions wherein they will take a detour. This is no longer the path. Let me go on that path. Once you help them do that, they will by themselves break that chain of going from A to D and from D back to A. Make sense?
Sauron, like you talk about 5 stages of grief, can we say they are like the means of remedy which we can use to heal other people who are going through grief? Or it is something which any person can use by himself or herself on themselves if they have knowledge about it?
We can use it for ourselves, and we will always see it happening in other people as well. And if you're trying to help somebody, this is not
Mhm.
something you would be able to help them with. It is something they will have to experience in themselves by themselves. You can always just be there for them, and if they are stuck in a loop, just help them come out of it. You
But
cannot be experiencing.
how can a normal person understand this and go through all these 5 stages?
We all have. We all have experienced all these. You were
Mhm.
not here when I gave the examples, but we just spoke about it. That just for the sake of an example, I am in an accident and now I'm hospitalized, and doctor says we'll need to cut off your leg because otherwise there is no ways we can save you. My first thing would be denial, saying that, are you completely out of your mind? How can you even think of cutting off my leg? What kind of doctor are you? This is not going to happen. Pretending the loss never happened. The same thing, I also gave the example of a wife and a husband. Suppose a husband cheated on his wife or a wife cheated on the husband. The first thing that they are going to say is, this never happened. This is not possible. I know my person. They would never do this. We all go through the same state, and the first state is most of the times it is denial. It could be anger and then denial, or it could be denial and then anger, but it always happens. Next state you will access is anger, wherein you'll feel mad about it, or I'll feel mad about it. What is this doctor talking about? Can we please have some other doctor? This doctor is completely stupid, he knows nothing. I want another doctor. And who's this person who had this accident with me? It is all his fault. Why do they need to cut off my leg, cut off his leg? Not blaming yourself, but blaming fate, blaming yourself, blaming doctors, blaming anybody and everybody that you can. But that anger will always, always, always erupt up if you are processing grief. This did not happen, and then, okay, this did happen, but why did this happen? Next thing that will come is you'll start bargaining. Can we please not do this? Suppose for these kids, I was asking them what happens when your girlfriend leaves you. First thing would be they would deny it. It did not happen. This person is not leaving me. Next thing is the anger. Okay, it is their bad luck. It's not my loss. It's your loss. Next thing they'll come is, okay, is it possible that I made some mistake, and can we please patch up by if I say sorry, will it be okay? If I buy you this gift, will it be okay? If I actually correct those mistakes that you're angry about and breaking up with me, will that be okay? All sorts of bargainings will start coming in. Finally, when they accept that this is not going to work, this is over, this relationship is no longer there, they'll go into that stage of feeling depressed. Okay, fine, I agree. This relationship is finally over. And then they would want to sit in their room and listen to some sad songs and not get out and not feel like getting out of bed, not taking bath, Yes, heartbroken. Please don't be. But finally, they'll come to accept it. Maybe a friend will come and say, okay, fine. At least let's go out for having a cup of tea. And gradually they'll start accepting it and they'll come out of it. These are the normal stages that we all go through while processing our grief, no matter how big or how small. The stages and their timing and durations can vary. It's not so that they will always be in the same 15 minutes of anger, 15 minutes of depression, 15 minutes of our acceptance. Doesn't work like that. One state can often last longer than the others. But and they can be coming from denial to acceptance. All the five need not follow the right order, though it is so that the acceptance is the last one. They can be first depressed and then angry. They can be first angry and then depressed. The states can move here and there, but these are the four states that they will go through before they come to the acceptance part, or before I come to the acceptance part.
I believe
And
sometimes it might take years for a person to leave that denial phase or to reach to acceptance phase in grief.
yes, it's possible. It's possible that somebody will not accept something for a very long time, and the processing is yet not done and not over. And if the processing is not done and not over, that feeling, that emotion, or that instance, or that incident, or whatever it was, will somewhere be still sitting alive within that person. And it can come and show up in very disturbing ways, in unexpected ways and disturbing ways when they are not expecting it to, when they are least expecting it to. Like this person who was heartbroken in college and is now about to get married to his steady relationship of 3 years, all of a sudden, at that moment when he's about to get married or she is about to get married, that feeling of grief is now coming up. And they feel like running away from that marriage, and people do that because they did not process their emotions right then and there and were not done and dusted with it. They will show up in unexpected ways and unexpected manners in unexpected places. It's better to understand this happened. I am in a state of grief. I need to grieve. I need to go through all my stages. Sit with your emotions, let them pass through, accept that this happened, then move on.
Is it possible that in some scenarios a person can be in denial phase forever till death?
It's not possible for a person to stay only in one state forever. Doesn't work like that.
But if the case is different, where they are not ready to accept whatever they should accept.
I think these, the cases where one stage, stretches for a very long time. These are the prime candidates where we see, mental degradation happening. There are medical cases erupt out of this. It is no longer just a psychological scar. It becomes a physical scar in their physique basically. We see brain degradation. We see even cases of schizophrenia occurring out of not being able to process grief properly.
True. It's 100%
So we can
true.
say, yeah, right. So we can say the people who cannot accept are suffering with some mental illnesses.
Yes, that's what I said.
The
Yes.
other way around. When people are not able to process all the stages, they get stuck in between, and that leads to mental illness rather than mental illness making them stuck in those stages. It's the other way around.
got it.
According to what the doctor said, people who are mentally unwell are the happiest people on the planet.
How?
They how? Because they are in their own world, no? They are not feeling what the reality is. You are feeling the pressure of the deadline. You know that you have to cook, you know that you have to earn, you know that you have to go out and you have to fetch things. They are in their own world. They are stuck somewhere in their own world, a world that they created. So their reality is not the real reality that you are experiencing. They are in a zoned space which is just for them. And you will find that such people do not easily get diabetes, they do not get lifestyle disorders. All those things happen with normal people. People who are mentally unwell do hardly get blood pressure and they hardly get diabetes because lifestyle disorder doesn't affect them. It is not affecting their mind. So it's not affecting their bodies either.
Even if someone is disrespecting them, don't they feel it? Don't they feel anything?
They can't perceive that they are disrespected.
And what about their day-to-day life? They have to get food to eat. For it, they need to work, but they are
We have
mentally ill.
to. We have to feed them. We have to take care of them. We have to convince them. They can't do anything by themselves. Otherwise, they wouldn't be mentally ill.
But not every mentally ill person can be helped by the people. There are a lot of people. So, to
Yeah,
some
they are.
extent, they suffer.
Some are psychotic, some are neurotic, and it depends on the condition whether they are psychotic or neurotic.
But I believe any person who is mentally ill, he suffers in his day-to-day life. That is as
No, they
simple.
don't. No. Not according to science, they don't. If you ask spiritual person, they will say yes, they are suffering. If you ask science, they will say they are not suffering. If you ask me, I'll say they have their moments of suffering and they have their moments of not suffering. They are not suffering from the elements like you and we will. That is, the everyday life is not affecting them. They are suffering somewhere deep within because they know the difference between the reality and their own state. And despite knowing that, they are not able to come out of it or come back to the reality
Okay.
for that matter. So
Okay, I got you. In their own world, they don't suffer. Their world is different, our world is different. For us, we need to go out, we need to work, we need to take care of our dignity, our respect, our reputation, and all the stuff. But for those people, they don't care about all these things. So, if we will look towards our own lens, we will say, yeah, they suffer. But from their own lens, they don't care about all these things. So they don't suffer. But there are some aspects which I think where they suffer, like carrying out their day-to-day life, their food, their shelter, their surroundings, or whatever there can come. Maybe there they may suffer to some extent. Sometimes they will not get food to eat. Sometimes they will move, ramble from one place to another place without any motive.
that is not what I was saying. What
Yeah,
I'm
I got your
saying is
point.
somewhere deep within the consciousness of the person, science only believes in mind, doesn't believe in soul. I believe in the mind and the soul. I know the mind is not able to process those things, but I also know that the soul is able to feel that difference. The soul does know that this is where I am and this is where the other person is. Though they also know that I am dependent on this person and this person is providing me everything, dignity matters to everybody. And since they are not able to process that thing on their own selves by themselves, they will definitely feel that little discomfort which they will not be able to communicate to anybody. but that discomfort does is present inside them. I felt so.
Right. So it has been about almost 2 hours now. So if we are done with the topics, Savandi, if please wrap up the call. And would anybody would like to summarize the call today? Flying Soul has joined us. Hi, Flying Soul. Good evening.
Busy flying high, and I was missing you so much. Good evening to you too. Okay, so we went through Steve Jobs' story, and then we came to understanding of why we are all not buying and selling ice creams. Because ice cream does make almost everybody happy, but then it's a fleeting thing. And most of the times we have found happiness to be a fleeting thing. Joy is not happiness, pleasure is not happiness, contentment is not happiness. 11 things, 11 factors which people consider are necessary for a happy life or for human life: good health, money, career, life partner, family support, good friends, respect and recognition, which we feel that if I have all this, I will be happy. But then there comes a state when you have all this and you have achieved what you want, and still there will be another bigger goal that you want to achieve, and that achieved happiness becomes small, so it becomes a part of somewhere, a part of your memory, and stays over there, becoming a state that you can access whenever you wish to. Postponing and conditioning our own happiness is something we are all champions at. Tomorrow I'll be more happy if this happens. Day after tomorrow I'll do this and I'll be more happy. And that tomorrow and day after tomorrow is not coming ever. So we keep postponing our happiness. And then was the question of happiness and a purposeful life. Most of the times when people have been through a certain journey and they come to that point wherein they feel like there should be something which will, or there should be someone who will remember me after I'm gone. They start searching for meaning of life, and they start searching for a purposeful life, and finally building something worthwhile for living. And the life, instead of becoming about happiness, becomes about legacy, and that too again brings them to the loop of demands and wants and needs, and ultimately doesn't remain about happiness. What happens when the life breaks us? We just went through all the 5 stages of grief all over again. And once a person has entered the state of acceptance, taking them from the state of acceptance to the state of happiness would be a journey in its own self. Because from being broken to being happy again are not the two same places. From being broken emerges a new self, and this new self will find happiness in a different way compared to the old self there. Lessons received, happiness yet fleeting. Is there something called perfect happiness? I don't think so. Perfect happiness does exist, but long stages of happiness can be achieved. State of experience that makes us feel deep sense of peace, contentment, excitement, safety, all put together in one state is something we can call as a state of happy state. When we've had different examples from different people. Ash found his happiness in his school days, Akash Bhai in his library, Nandini ji in her cupboard, Almira. Sakshi, I do not remember. I think you didn't say. There was somebody who found their happiness in joy in dancing in the rain. So, yeah, all of us have
Nandini.
experienced that state. No, it was Ellen, I think, who said that she experienced her state of happiness when she was dancing in the rain. Okay, all of us have in short experienced it, that state, and it does exist somewhere within us, and we can anchor it within our bodies, and we can bring it back on demand if we want to. However, we would not want to be in perfect state of happiness 24/7, 365, because then we will be missing out on experiencing other aspects of it. And thank you, Sahuji. Um, So a contentment one can be, today was a terrible day. I am sad, but I do not hate my life. I am still content about it. A happy person would be saying, if I have this, I'll be happy. However, happiness is about asking, how do I feel? And contentment is about, can I be okay with what I have? In short, contentment and happiness are also not one and the same. Now, I leave you with that question to explore it further. Can happiness last forever? Can there be something called and they lived happily ever after? Is that ever possible? Thank you so much, folks, for listening to me. And I feel a bit awkward about what?
To speak up, I think he is saying. That's okay, Gajendra. If you, whenever you feel comfortable, please join us. No worries at all.
You starting something, Sakshi?
Yeah, I'm just replying.
To
She
what?
is telling for Gajendra. He is saying to start speaking. He is feeling awkward.
Ah, okay. I thought she wants to start the entire thing all over again. I was about to say, sorry, boss, I'm exhausted. We did not have so much of laugh today, no? It was very little laugh. You can't ask this. Why? You got also exhausted? Anyways, anybody else has some happiness to share, please feel free to do so. We are all suckers for happiness. Give it as much as you can. We are completely ready to take it.
Share the audio of my sister. Have you remember?
Yes, I do.
I asked mommy to give a ball to her, as we have many at our home. Mama gave her, and she was so happy. She was beginning to dance at the moment, and said, "Buddy, Mama, give me this." And went to every single family member to show, "I have my own ball now. It's my personal one, and Mama give me."
Cute. Kids find happiness to be in such simple things. But we grown ups are champions at complicating it. Sakshi, we can find the happiness in simple places, right?
Yeah.
Guys, I think we have had ample for today. Akash bhai, we can wind up now. You can please stop recording.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.